Application of composite functions. User structure. A music store is running the following promotions. Huge savings, $5 off a purchase of $20 or more. Save an additional 15% off your total purchase when you open a charge account. A. Use a composition of functions to find the sale price of $90 purchase when the $5 off discount is applied prior to the 15% of discount. B. Use a composition of functions to find the sale price of $90 purchase when the 15% off discount is applied prior to the $5 of discount. In which order the deal is better for the consumer? Explain. First of all, let's create some functions here. Let's create a function in terms of the, let me take a pen. First of all, let me take here a pen. And let's see here, let's solve first when we have a $5 off. Let's create a function. When we create a function when we have a $5 off, we can write here x. X is the price of an item when you buy, and minus $5. So minus $5 you're taking off. And the other function, g of x, is a function when you have a 15% off. Let's say here is a g of x, and g of x is equal with the price of the item x, and is a minus 15% off. If it's minus 15% off, the 15% we convert it to the number, and is 0.15. If we convert the 15% into the number, is 0.15 times the price of the x. But because we have x here, we can simplify this one. Here in the front is the coefficient 1, minus 0.15 is going to be equal with 0.85. So g of x, this implies, after we do some calculation here, it implies, so g of x is equal with 0.85. So 85x. So here is x. And now we are going to see in A, to solve for A, what it says A says, use a composition of function to find the sale or price of $90 purchase. So the item costs $90. Then we first apply $5 and then we apply the discount of 15%. But because we first apply f of x, we are going to find the composition function g of f of x. And when we find the composition function g of f of x is going to be as follows. Now this is going to be this way. First of all, we write the function g of x, which is a 0.85. And we, instead of the x, instead of this x, we're going to leave a big place because we have to plug in the function f of x here instead of this x. And f of x happens to be x minus 5. So we write x minus 5. And we calculate everything, what we have. But I think it's better now if we are applying here instead of the x is the price of item, which happens to be $90. So just let me write it here with different colors. So x is equal to $90, and because it's equal to $90, so we write it here x is equal to 90. And then we're going back again with a different color. And here we plug in the numbers instead of the x, and the rest of it is going to take care of a calculator because it's easy. Here is 90 minus 5. And here we take a calculator and now we are first inside the parentheses. 90 minus 5 is equal to 85, so this is very easy. 85, and we multiply with 0.85. So multiply by 0.85 and we get 72.25. So everything is going to be with 72.25. So when we apply this discount, first we get the discount of $5, and then the same article we get 15% off. If the item costs $90, the final price, the final sale is going to be $72.25. So now we're going with a B, and B is this way because the first one, it says to apply 15% and then $5. So then we are going to apply, first we are going to apply the function g of x and then f of x. So g of x is going to be the domain. So it means we are going to solve f of g of x, And now instead of those values, we are going, first we write the function f of x. But instead of the x, we leave in a space here because here we have to plug in the function g of x. And minus 5, we write a minus 5 here. And we look in what is the g of x is 0.85x. So here is a 0.85x. Instead of x is 0.85x. Is 0.85x. And now we are plugging in the numerical values. So the coefficient 0.85 you write in the way how it is, 0.85. And instead of a 90, here is multiplication. We write x is a 90. So x is equal to 90. And here is a minus 5. So here we can calculate with calculator easy. And first of all, we are going to respect the PEMDAS, hierarchy of operation, first in multiplication. So just let me erase this. And here is 0.85 times 90, 0.85 times 90 is going to be equal to 65.5. But here now we have a minus 5 and we get 71.5. So here is 71.5. So if we apply first the 15% discount and then $5 off, we gonna pay a $71.5. And C says in which order the deal is better. In the better is in a B, because B is cheaper. So because a 71.5 is smaller than 72.25. 72.25. So the better deal is going to be the choice B. B is a better choice because we pay less money. But for the store is a better choice A because they're going to get more money. But for the consumer is a better choice B.